I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about, is no contact forever?
Forever's a long time.
Oh, and you are in a breakup and you are hearing about no contact. You are thinking, does this mean I'm never going to talk to my ex again?
Mm-hmm. And that thought is terrifying.
It is the worst feeling in the world because everything inside of you says, I want to talk to them. I need to fix this. I need to repair this. But the interesting thing is that when you try and push your agenda on somebody, it often makes them less interested, it makes them lose attraction, and they often will push you away. Mm-hmm. So pay attention because we're going to explain what you should do and what we mean by no contact.
Right. Many times our brain will catastrophize, meaning we will think of the worst case scenario, which for many of you is never speaking to your ex again, never interacting with them again, almost as if they've disappeared from your life. And you might already be feeling that, and your brain almost makes it reality. You know, you start to feel like you'll lose access to them forever if you go into no contact.
They're going to forget about me.
Right. Right. And this is why we hear a lot of other coaches talk about 30-day rule, 60-day rule, these window periods, all of these things.
I'm hearing a new one recently.
What is that?
45 days. If you don't hear within 45 days, they're never going to come back.
Okay.
Tell me the coach so I can put an LOL under that video.
Yeah, right?
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Most people do not come back within 45 days.
And you can't put a standardized date to every situation. You know, when we're doing coachings, we're talking to people who have, been on one date with somebody to somebody who's been married for 20 years, so there's a huge range in what relationships look like. And to say 45 days is the standard across all relationships is ridiculous to me.
Please consider where you're getting the information from.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting it from a professional, like a therapist, they've, probably had more training in it than somebody that just grabs a camera and mm-hmm. sits in front of some plant and a sign that says ask. No, I'm just kidding.
A sign that says ask Craig.
But we have spent a long time trying to understand this stuff, and we don't tell you what to do. We put ourselves in your shoes and mm-hmm. think how we would navigate a situation because we see day in and day out what works.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these strategies or window periods or time periods, they appeal to your anxiety.
Yeah.
Because it's giving your brain something concrete to say, okay, after 30 days, I'm going to mark it in my calendar. I'm going to reach out and it's going to go like this. And you have certain expectations around that. Then it creates even more anxiety if they don't reach out and more problems. And so we don't go by any kind of limited time.
It doesn't work like that. If it did, we'd tell you. Mm-hmm. But I had somebody recently be like, I heard that anxious exes don't come back after 45 days. Is that true? Whoever you heard that from, never listen to them again because they have no idea what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. It does not happen like that at all.
Right. And human emotions are so complex to limit them.
And we see it all the time. Mm-hmm. And I posted this on my Instagram, had an ex come back after a year and a half. Okay, you know who this client is. Mm-hmm. I'll say it's a woman. Okay, an avoidant woman. Mm-hmm. Her anxious ex, this is really unusual. Out of nowhere, okay. Actually, if you saw my Instagram, you might have saw this part too. Mm-hmm. She had her ex's sister-in-law messaged her Merry Christmas. That was the first time she had any contact in a long time. It's been a year and a half. And then the ex reposted a picture of her on his story.
By accident or
I don't know if it was on purpose or by accident, but then He blocked her again. Now, this is
Oh, that is
after
odd.
a year and a half. I was like, now that's a new one. Reposting. Could you imagine if you woke up Christmas morning and your ex reposted a story of you with your picture without saying anything to you?
Man.
I mean, talk about an indirect. So I don't know if he did it by accident and he realized it later, but then he blocked her immediately.
There could be worse accidents.
But I'm not going to be surprised at all if
Yeah.
this ex reaches out in the next couple of weeks.
Interesting.
Because that's what exes do, sneaky things like this all the time.
Yeah. And, with every situation, you're going to see different types of behaviors, and you can't just put one formula to everything. We understand that there's nuances in different situations, but what we will say is that during a breakup, it is important for people to have their own time to process. Reach outs look different in every situation. Sometimes it is an indirect direct, sometimes it's a direct, depending on your situation.
I missed the cat.
Yeah. That's one that we hear all the time.
And it's funny enough, I did an email coaching today with a guy who he sent an indirect direct to his ex that he missed the cat.
Oh.
I was like, oh, you were the one who sent the indirect direct. So I thought that was really funny because usually you guys know about our I missed the cat, and this guy accidentally did it. So that was kind of funny.
Right.
But, your ex goes through this stage where they're feeling relieved about things. There's no more stress. There's no more pressure to fix it. They're just like, this is going to be better off. But in time, those feelings go away and they change. And they often get to a place where they're like, I kind of overreacted on those things, or I was so upset and angry about those things, but they're really not that big of a deal. And they start to look at all the positive things that you brought into their life. So they go through a lot of changes in no contact, but only when you take the pressure off.
Right. And we want to be clear that when we talk about no contact, we talk about it indefinitely. So that means there's no set period of time. It's just no contact until you hear from them.
Let's clarify that, though. When we say no contact, we mean no reaching out. We're not saying to ignore them. We're not saying wait for a meaningful message. We're saying you just don't reach out to them. We want them to reach out to you. That's a good thing. If they reach out to you, that's good. We want to try and set a date. We want to try and schedule something to see them. But we just don't want you to reach out to them.
Right. And while not all breakups will end up in repair or end up with your ex reconsidering, many of you will hear back from your ex at some point. Doesn't mean that all breakups end up in that relationship being repaired and people getting back together, but many of you will have an opportunity to talk to your ex again, just to talk to your fears about catastrophizing and it being the last time you'll ever talk to them and all of this. How you handle that interaction, though, is going to be really important and is a lot of what we talk about on the channel. We don't want to overwhelm our ex when we do hear from them if we're trying to repair things.
Yeah, you don't want to, you got to play your cards close to your chest. You don't want to reveal everything. I have people sometimes that will send me an email, or you'll see a comment on the channel that's like, my ex reached out and we talked for 6 hours and now they don't want to talk to me anymore. Yeah, that's not a surprise. We are very clear on how to handle situations. When your ex reaches out, your goal is to really have a couple of text messages and see if they're wanting to get together. Your goal is to see them in person. That is your goal, to see them in person, to create the attraction and the chemistry again.
Right. And you don't want to force anything. So we are saying see them in person if you can, but please be mindful of those interactions. And during coachings, that's something that we work with many of you on, is helping you read and interpret, the messages and the exchanges that happen, because a lot of times it can be really confusing.
Oh, it is so confusing because you're so scared and your anxiety drives so much of what you say and do. And usually the anxiety makes you say and do the exact opposite of what you should say and do.
Right. So if you're in no contact and you're having that impending doom feeling, that fear that you're never going to talk to your ex again, being able to learn how to manage that anxiety is so important, not only for yourself, if you're trying to repair that relationship, definitely, but also thinking just about your future in general. A lot of times those skills, those self-soothing skills, can help you feel more independent, can help you feel more confident. These are life skills that we want you to learn, is how can I manage my own anxiety in no contact, knowing that it's indefinite? Because we know that many of you having a date, okay, well, in 30 days or on their birthday or on this holiday, I'm going to reach out. And a lot of times, that's not a good long-term strategy for managing anxiety.
And that's what we try and help you learn to do in the Creative Healing course. We have audio affirmations. We're trying to help you work through the process to really help you learn to do as an adult what your parents needed to help you do as a child, which was to soothe yourself. Because I really believe that so much of our relationship problems come from our inability to soothe ourselves when we get in an emotional state, when we get anxious. And I put out a video 10 years ago, the real reason relationships fail, because of anxiety. And I really believe that. And so when you learn to soothe yourself, it really allows the space for a connection. It allows for another person, and it's like the beauty of the music is the space between the notes, right? And so if you don't allow the space between you and your partner all the time, it's just like, it overwhelms them. It's like, But the beauty is the space coming together, having some space, coming together again, having some space. You know what I'm saying? Like you see your partner every couple of days, you go on a date, then you see him again. When you live together, it can be different, right?
Right.
But, if you're dating, the time in between seeing each other is supposed to be, a good thing too, not anxiety driven where it controls you and you can't enjoy each day, right?
Right. And this happens in breakups a lot too, where you might be trying to force interactions with them. It takes time to process. When somebody is really able to sit with themselves, when somebody is really able to live life without you and experience that and see what that's like, that gives them new perspectives, not you trying to force and get them to see it your way and try to reconnect when they might not be ready to.
And when you feel good about who you are and how you show up, you're not so anxious about them not coming back because you realize that they have a good thing and they have a good connection with you and they want it. But if you're trying to force it because you're scared, the very thing we're afraid of, we cause to happen. We're afraid of losing them, so we wind up pushing them away. Right? So you have to find the balance within yourself. And when you do that, it really creates a stronger connection.
Right.
That's why we're always telling you do the work.
And some things that can help if you're trying to self-soothe yourself, if you're in no contact and you're having that fear of losing them forever, connect with other people around you. I know that there's no perfect replacement for your ex when you have that separation anxiety that just kind of pinpoints, no, I need my ex and I need them here right now and I need a hug from them right now. You're missing them so intensely. I know there's no perfect replacement, but please surround yourself with people who love you. If you don't have a strong community, go find and develop that community as much as you can in whatever way that you can. And then remember to try to talk down your catastrophizing thoughts. I know it's hard because our brain can sometimes be on a loop when we're feeling anxious, and sometimes it takes redirecting our thoughts a million times to say, okay, my brain is telling me I'm never going to talk to this person ever again in my entire life. That's terrifying. What's more of the reality? More of the reality is uncertainty.
Yep.
It may or may not happen. Can we sit with that uncertainty? We're telling you more than likely you probably will hear from them at some point. You may not. The bigger picture is you're going to be okay. We have to learn how to talk to those thoughts and manage those thoughts.
If you take your anxiety and instead of focusing on them, whether they've logged on to Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp, and you sit down and do the course or the workbooks and you pour your anxiety into that, you're going to feel so much better because you're learning and you're growing and you're making yourself more centered and emotionally stronger. But you got to do the work. It pays off, okay? And it's going to help reattract your ex if they come back. All right, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, go to the website, askcraig.net. You can get email coaching from me or Zoom coaching. If you want Victoria's help, click on her name at the top of the website.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
And we'll schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.